Hey guys, Dislife Mark here, and I want to tell you all about the official travel partner here at Chip & Company. Let our good friend Sarah at Destination to Travel help you plan your next Disney vacation. Sarah specializes in planning dream vacations for your family. She's an authorized Disney vacation planner, and she can help with every step of your magical vacation. The best thing is that her services are 100% free. Want to travel beyond Disney? Sarah has you covered there too. Want to find out more? Fill out a trip request form over at the website at Chip & Co. or email her directly at sarahsolberg@d2travel.com. What are you waiting for? Start planning that dream vacation today. Email her at sarahsolberg@d2travel.com.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Welcome, foolish mortals.
Greetings, program.
Amigos down there. It is me up here.
Howdy, folks. Please keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the train and remain seated at all times.
Nice work, pal.
Well, we have one of those new talking machines. Now that is something.
We know what our goals are. We know what we hope to accomplish. And believe me, it's the most exciting and challenging assignment we've ever tackled.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dislife Podcast. Thank you so much for being a part of our Disney Lives here on the Chip & Company Podcast Network. My name is Mark Valentine, and I am the host of Dislife Podcast. Join us every week as we discuss the very best of Disney parks, resorts, dining, and beyond. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button to get access to more incredible audio content from the Chip & Company Podcast Network. And just a reminder to head over to chipandco.com for the latest and the most uplifting headlines from across Disney parks around the world. I want to give a special shout out to the patrons, as always, of this podcast program. They are the members of our Patreon page who have special access to bonus content and more. If you would like to support this radio program, please visit us at patreon.com/Dislife Podcast. On today's show, we are recapping our trip report from the Bayou to the Savannah as we return from Walt Disney World, hanging out with this man right here, Greg, the Disney fanatic. So let's welcome him back to the show. My co-hostess with the mostest, Greg, the Disney fanatic. Dude, I miss you.
Hoy hoy, Mark Valentine. It has been so long since we've seen each other. We are doing an amazing recap. I'm going to turn the mic around on you.
You will.
And ask you questions today. But more importantly, Mark, how many times am I going to hear about how much Disneyland is better than Disney World during this Disney World trip report? Not only that, but before you say anything, is this going to be 5 episodes long? Or is this going to be, I've been to Disney World before, I'm only going to do a short episode?
I swear I will not utter Disneyland is better than Disney World, say for right then. But it's so funny. So a backstory. My wife joined us, Holly joined us, so it was the families really mixing together on this trip. It was our annual Disney Vacation Club week that every single week we get, or every single year we get a week to go stay at Disney Vacation Club resorts. We did extend this a little bit by adding a few days at our favorite moderate resort, which was Port Orleans French Quarter. But as we're walking around, it became like a running gag that I would look at something and be like, you know, Greg, at Disneyland, that's way better. And it's so funny because you then got my wife on board. You turned her against me, like Darth Vader style, where you got her to like kind of say like, Mark, stop saying that. And then there was an instance where she started to say something. She goes, at Disneyland, like, that's really great. And I'm like, I got you, Linda. I know you're just joining Greg's team to like razz me, but you know it too.
She turned on me on a dime.
And she didn't even know.
Was just like, oh yeah, no, Disney World, it's so great. I love Disneyland. It's the best in the, I'm telling you, Greg, it is the best in the world. And I went, Judas. She is Judas.
And yet she didn't even intend to do that.
No, and it was brilliant. We had, seriously, together a few times. We all had such an amazing trip. Well, it was your trip. I live here, but hanging out together, whether it was beignets, whether it was in the Magic Kingdom, just relaxing and having a good time at nighttime for fireworks, riding Guardians of the Galaxy, or Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, which I want to stop right now and say thank you to you and your family for inviting Rory, my daughter, out to join the families for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. It was beautiful and wonderful of you guys. We ended up having such an amazing time. You and I went off on our own and had to do media that night, which we will get into because I think that was one of the greatest nights and the most fun we've had. It's such a different thing going to the Magic Kingdom as a media personality versus going on your own. So we'll get into that. We're going to get into all of this. But let's start off on the top, Mark. Sure. I have to ask you, do you have a favorite memory of this past trip? Because between hanging out with your wife and daughter, hanging out with your family that came down with you for a few days, you guys had a whole lot to experience and a whole lot to do. Did anything stand out on this trip for you guys?
Absolutely. There was a moment where it was all of us standing together. We walked over to Gaston's Tavern to watch the fireworks together, and we were sitting at Gaston's fountain watching Disney's Enchantment. The fireworks were going off over our head, and that was like the moment. You know, and we talked about this during the party too. You were like, dude, I just had to sit here for a minute and take this in and live in the moment. Like, you put the cameras down, you don't create content, you're not snapping pictures, you're not creating reels. That for a minute, you just allow yourself to soak in the magic and the moment. And like, here I am, I'm sitting with my arm around my daughter. She's gazing up at the fireworks. The fireworks are illuminating her. There was a cast member who took these incredible pictures of our family as the fireworks were exploding behind us. You're dancing with your daughter, and the two of you are dancing underneath the fireworks. And it was just that reinforcement again of what Disney's about. That we can get caught up in so many things with what we do at Chip and Company, and we do with social media, and then it all melts away and it fades away to the very basic level of this park is about families, it's about memories, it's about magic, it's about time together, and that was, I think, a core memory for me. That was really one of those core memory moments that I don't think I'll ever forget. And I hope my daughter never forgets of all of us being together under the fireworks and just taking in the music, being bathed in that light. And it was just, if I had to summarize my favorite moment of the trip, it was right then. It's no matter how many times you go back to this park, the magic is always there. It never gets old, man. And to do it with friends and family is what is so remarkable for us every single time. And hands down, that was my favorite moment.
Hands down, my favorite moment I've had in the past few months. It was so magical sitting back there. And just so people know, if you haven't been to the Magic Kingdom and watched the fireworks from behind the castle, hashtag back of the castle.
Yeah.
Go back there, go to Gaston's area. And what happens is those giant fireworks you see behind the castle are going off over your head. And then you can turn your head to the left a little bit and you can see Cinderella Castle and the fireworks that are going off over there. And the music's pumped in and you can sit on the fountain back there and you're not surrounded by a lot of people. It's almost like a private moment you get inside the Magic Kingdom. And I tell you, if I go too deep into that, I will start crying because that's how much my daughter and my wife and my friends mean to me. That moment was such a core memory. And I said this to Rory yesterday. I was like, I hope you remember this when later in life, when you have your own kids or you've grown up and decided what you wanted to do in life. I hope that's one moment you can look back on and go, I shared a special moment in life and I will always remember this one moment. I mean, it was magical. So thank you to you, to Linda, to Bella for sharing that with our family. It was magical. So, all right. That's out of the way. The emotional stuff is out of the way because it was great. So where did you guys stay at this time? You said two different places. So let's start off with where you stayed.
Yeah. So this episode is being named From the Bayou to the Savannah. So let's explain quite clearly what that means. we get 1 week of Disney Vacation Club points. So we booked to stay at Animal Kingdom's Kidani. But prior to that, we love and have just come to cherish Port Orleans French Quarter. My wife and I did that resort first during the Galaxy's Edge preview, and we loved staying there. We love how quaint it is. It's always so quiet. We love how small and navigable it is. We feel like it's all of the charm of Port Orleans without the hustle and bustle of Riverside, which is a very sprawling resort. That's not to say that Riverside isn't an incredible resort, because it is. But for us, we like small and we like intimate. So we started at, and we booked 3 days in advance at Port Orleans French Quarter. My sister-in-law joined us over there. My niece joined us over there on the front end of that trip. And you had a chance to come over. We got beignets. We got a chance to take in all of the magic of Mardi Gras. That it's like Mardi Gras 24/7, 365 over there.
Dude, we were busting out Iko. We were like, Giacomo Fino Anane, Giacomo Finane. Mark started a parade. We were like throwing beads out.
I was like,
crazy.
Feet, don't film it now. Feet, don't film it now. That's another park. Speaking of which, have you ever done Mardi Gras over at Universal?
Oh yeah. I've been on the parade float.
Man,
and thrown out beads and,
it's so great. I love that.
But speaking of that, have you ever been to New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival?
So, fun fact: I have never been to New Orleans, and it's a bucket list item for us that we had wanted to. Remember, let's rewind a little bit.
Yeah.
Mark, afraid of planes, fear of flying.
Right.
There have been so many places domestically that have eluded me, that are on my bucket list, that now that I'm over my fear of flying, I'm going to get there.
Well, French Quarter and the Bayou are wonderful.
It's just
I love
in.
So yeah. I mean, French Quarter to me is simply amazing. Everything. So I love Riverside. It's one of my favorite resorts of all time. And French Quarter to me is just the Riverside. Just a little. Everything's a little closer together and easier to get to. Scat Cats Club is fun to hang out. They have the live jazz there. We did beignets.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anything that exciting about being there?
So the beignets are the most exciting thing.
We tore up beignets to the point where it was just like, should we get more beignets?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's getting late. Well,
so there wasn't, I mean, if we were there for like 3 nights or 4 nights, including like when we came in, every single night we got beignets. So quick tip, and everyone kind of knows this, that follow Kirk over at Walrus Carp. No matter if you have them dine in or take out, here's the tip. You have to order them to go. Because when you order them to go, they give them to you in a paper bag. Versus if you say, I'm going to dine in, they put them in a bowl and they just dump all the powdered sugar on top. But if you order them to go, here's your pro tip, then you can put them in the bag and shake that bag up, and it coats the entire beignet in the powdered sugar, kind of like a jelly donut, but you get all of the powdered sugar that's covering it. And if you still want more, there is so much excess sugar in the bottom of that bag. You can also then like go crazy and sprinkle it on top.
Just a quick tip on top of your quick tip.
Sure.
When reopening the bag, do not breathe in. There is going to be a whole lot of dust. I literally just made Mark choke on his coffee.
I just almost spit my coffee out.
Because the dust that comes out, like you did it so smart. You're like, I'm going to slowly tear open the side of the bag and let some of the dust settle down. I would have opened it up and been like, and then been like, ah!
Yeah, dude, you look like Tony Montana when you open the bag up.
It's like that one scene where everything's just blowing up.
Yeah, one scene from Scarface. You just look like it was like an Idina Menzel party over there.
Not that we're alluding to anything. No.
So
no, she was just hyped.
So yeah, we had such a great time doing beignets. I mean, let's face it, that about 65 or 70% of the reason that people stay there is to have access to those beignets. But we love that place so much. Dedicated bus stop. What I love about Port Orleans is how quiet and quaint it is. I mean, you just, no matter what time of day it is, it's just always so relaxing. It's so peaceful. The only thing that I will say is, and I think they'll probably do this in time, A lot of the pools have been getting some makeovers. The pool needs a little touch up there. Scales needs a little bit of a touch up, but we love that pool and we love that resort. Plus, you can always walk over and catch Yeehaw Bob, and he's not too far away if you want to see some live music over at Port Orleans Riverside. So we
less than a 10-minute walk.
Yeah, it's less than.
And you can also hop a boat over to Disney Springs or anywhere else from that area.
So that was the resort we have a familiarity with, and that was the resort that we picked because we know that we love it. Now, I've stayed at Jambo and I have stayed at the Animal Kingdom Lodge before, but I never stayed over at the DVC side and I never stayed at Kidani. We were supposed to go to Disneyland, oddly enough, but we did not. So this trip, which was supposed to be a Disneyland trip, very late became a Disney Vacation Club stay. So our home resort, which we've always stayed at, which is Copper Creek at the Wilderness Lodge, was not available. So we branched out. I said, let's try Kidani. We got a Savannah view over at Kidani, and that was our DVC stay. So we had a split stay. We started at the Bayou, and we finished at the Savannah.
Let's go to Kidani real quick. Okay, so the first night there, they put you you actually stayed at Riverside. That's how far your room was from the lobby or anything. So you had to walk through Epcot, all the way through Hollywood Studios, across Animal Kingdom Park to get back to your lobby.
Okay, so if you don't know this already, and we didn't know this, Kidani is huge. It is huge. It's gigantic. I mean,
it circles a Savannah. That should give it away. And it's not a small Savannah either.
It's really big. So we were on the 5th floor at the very end of the wing. And I'm not kidding. This is not hyperbole. It took us probably 7 to 10 minutes to walk to our room after we got back to the hotel. And people who just know that, like, this is just a style thing. I know a lot of people are going to say, hey, Mark, first world problems. Yeah, I mean, it really is. We're staying at a deluxe resort. We're at Disney, and it's a very small thing to complain about. But we were parked quite literally 10 minutes from the lobby. And just the style of vacation that I am, I wake up in the morning. I don't use the coffee maker in the room. I like to walk to the lobby. I like to get coffee. I am one of those guys that you could put me on the elevator of the lobby and I'll be happy. Like, that to me is the absolute perfect stay. I want to go right down the elevator. Yep. I want to be right in the lobby. I want to be in the room where it happens. So for me, just style wise, that was a little bit further than we like. We were very cool about it. We asked the front desk and said, hey, in subsequent nights, do you have anything that maybe is closer? We'll sleep there for the night. But is there availability? If so, is there a potential for us to move? And amazingly enough, and our good friend Brian, who used to be in resorts, told us, yeah, as long as you will say, hey, I can be there for the first night, they'll have openings. They'll have things that they can slide you into in subsequent nights, just not that night. You can't be like, I'm moving now, because those rooms have already been filled. But they're going to get people who check out, and they can, fluctuate and move it. But it was a full resort. So that second day, they moved us to like pretty much right on the elevator at that point. And Disney did an amazing job in accommodating us. But to the bigger picture, Disney's always so great about that. They want to make sure that the style of vacation that you are looking to have, that they can tailor, they tailor the vacation to what you want. Disney is always nothing but great to work with. Their customer service is top notch. Even to the Magic Band Plus, I know that we're going to get to these things later and do a full review on them, but so because of demand, our Magic Band Pluses didn't ship on time, right? Disney recognized that. They were cognizant of the fact of, hey, like, it really was out of our control. We never anticipated the demand for these. We realized you had purchased Magic Band Plus for your trip. They didn't get to you on time. So we're going to refund you the payment that you gave us for Magic Band Plus. Oh, and here's a voucher. Go and get some on us for this stay. Disney.
That's actually really nice of them.
Really,
like, that's
really
going above and beyond.
Above and beyond that. Not only did they say, hey, we're going to refund these, but also, we're very sorry for this. We were cool about it. Like, we weren't even complaining. We were like, yeah, I mean, we're coming back. So even if we didn't get them for this trip, we have them for next. we didn't complain about it. Disney of their own accord basically said to us, here you go. The point being is Disney's customer service is top notch. They are so good at that. They want to make sure that you're enjoying your stay. They want to make sure that Disney is magical for you, that they try to navigate any potential problems to make sure that at the end of the trip that you're leaving them nothing but tens. And we just went up to the front desk and said, hey, online it said the Magic Bands were going to be here waiting for us. Did you get them from Shop Disney? And they were like, no, we're really sorry about that, but here's your voucher. And I was like, whoa.
Wow.
Like Owen Wilson, wow.
Wow. Okay. We were going to talk about Kidani later in this, but we're here. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
So Kidani is one of my favorite resorts, and we got to stay above the pool and had a partial Savannah view. What was nice for me was it was a bucket list to wake up in the morning just as sun was rising. Dawn had just broke. Going to the Savannah, having a coffee. By the way, quick tip, don't ever use the coffee makers in the room. You don't know what other people use it for. I've heard rumors of people doing their socks in it. It's so bad. I just don't, I'm not even trying to gross people out. Just don't use the coffee maker in your room, people. It's not Disney's fault. It's the other guests.
It's like Austin Powers. This is nutty.
Yes. So I would go downstairs and grab a coffee or go to that little shop that's right there, grab a coffee and sit upstairs. You can either go upstairs or downstairs and you have that Savannah view overlook. So I would go outside to the overlook. I did a time lapse of like 20 minutes just sitting there and watching the sun come up, and you can watch the giraffes come out because the caretakers are feeding the animals at this point. So each animal will come out individually and go to a spot. And you literally are sitting there with this Savannah view in front of you, and all these animals just are starting to wake up. It is such a spectacular, special moment to watch this. Did you guys get a chance to do any of this?
Yeah, I mean, we've done, like I said, we did Jumbo House, but we only did Jumbo House for pretty much, let's call it an overnight. It was 2 days and 1 night. So we didn't get to do the Savannah view there as much as we had hoped, because during a split stay, we did that one time where we were like, let's try this place out just to check off all the resorts. But this time around, we did really focus on and made sure that we prioritized living a little bit at that resort. And that's what we love about Disney Vacation Club. We know that we're always coming back. So in a lot of these stays, we make those stays more about the resort than we do about the park. And we really had a chance to take in the Savannah. My daughter, I laughed, I chuckled before when you talked about watching the Savannah. My daughter came to call the birds that were there Kevins. Even though they're not Kevins, she called them the Kevins. And she would be like, the Kevins are doing like weird things and they would make funny noises. And so she would crack us up because she would sit on the balcony and just watch all of these animals doing their thing. And it was just, again, a core memory moment of her really enjoying the Savannah. But
so those birds, by the way, have that big hair or whatever feathers are on the top of their hair that gives them an afro kind of look to them. And it's amazing. I've had personal experiences with them where they will sit outside of Sanaa in the morning. You'll have breakfast and sit at a table, and they will sit there staring you down, not moving, and just be like, you literally all of a sudden feel like you're being guilt tripped by a bird. And you're like, you're just a bird. And they're just sitting there like, yeah, go ahead. What are you doing? Hey, Greg. Hey, Greg, what are you eating?
There's glass here. I can't give you this food. And they're looking at you. Yeah, the one, we had breakfast at Sanaa twice, and the one time, the video that I took that I actually put up on our Facebook group is like, I'm trying to drink in this, and it was the last day, one last time, we're eating breakfast, and there's just 3 zebras that are not 10 feet from where we're sitting, eating their breakfast, and there's the music, and I'm sitting here going like, this is life. Like, is this life right now, or is this life?
The only thing it's missing is, I seem to remember a commercial of a giraffe sticking his head in somebody's window and like taking food from Animal Kingdom. I think it was like the first commercials ever, like Animal Kingdom is coming, and a giraffe would stick his head in where people are eating.
Yeah,
and the whole time I'm sitting there going, "Where's the giraffe? Why will you not stick your head in my window?"
As an FYI, that's not possible because they do have some fencing that the animals do not come that close to the room.
Mark, you're ruining the magic.
Okay, well, you were just going to say what is missing. I'm going to give you what's missing. The smell of animal manure. That it's surprisingly for a Savannah, there's no smell of animals.
No, there's no smell.
None. And the caretakers do a really good job of picking up droppings so that it's all of the benefits of an animal paddock and a Savannah minus the smell of like a zoo or a Savannah itself.
Okay,
That's
so
what's
when
missing.
we stayed there, we had the 1-bedroom partial Savannah. What type of room were you guys in?
We were in a studio. So the studio has a queen size bed and then the pull out couch, which I really like because it's very functional. That, you know, after someone's done sleeping on the cot, you can fold it up, you make it into a couch. It becomes like a living room. My daughter never minds sleeping on the cot as well. Like she finds that's cool. Like there's a cool factor to it. It's like the Transformer. It starts as a couch. It becomes a bed. I have to sleep on this thing. Whereas for adults,
transform and roll out.
I mean, like at a certain point in my life, like, yeah, give me a futon, like give me a floor mat. I'll sleep on anything. I'm starting to develop a more delicate. I need to sleep on a nice mattress. The mattresses were beautiful there, man.
Not only do I need a nice mattress, I need better pillows than they have there. Their pillows are a bit too
really?
soft. Those like look, I can literally, Mark, I will jump into those rooms and flop like I'm a wrestler on the bed. It's very weird. I don't know. We won't go into that. Holly probably is like, shut up.
Yeah. You do like Macho Man elbow drop?
I'm like the elbow drop off the thing. And the pillows are great for that. But when you're trying to get comfortable and prop yourself up, those pillows mold. And
do you do this? Are you like, what you gonna do when Greg Gately, the Disney fanatic, drops the leg drop on you? Good guy.
A nice guy.
Hulk Hogan,
Just
good
a
guy.
good guy.
Just a good guy.
Good guy. You got me.
So that will never, now that you have gone on record and saying how you feel about Hulk Hogan, that joke will never get old. If you don't know, I don't even remember what Disney News and Review podcast that was, but I was driving to Western PA crying, laughing at that little back and forth that both you and Chip had. That was when I went and got my adult furniture.
Yes. Look, she deserves adult furniture. I'm saying I fully agree with her. So let's go Kidani,
Sanaa.
studio room. Sanaa.
Let's talk Sanaa.
Let's talk Sanaa and then pool.
So I have never gone to Sanaa because I never.
Oh, wow.
That was
I am surprised by that.
I had never gone to Sanaa.
You know what they don't have in Disneyland, Mark?
Sanaa.
And a Savannah view. And a giraffe.
It
and
wasn't
a zebra.
Yeah, and it wasn't that I was fearful of the menu of Sanaa. Sanaa is, again, it's a little off the beaten path. It's like Olivia's. I love Olivia's Cafe.
Love Olivia's.
It's one of the best breakfasts you can get, but it's off the beaten path. If you're a parks person, you have to decidedly make a left turn and get to that place, and it's going to take...
Especially if you don't have your own vehicle.
Correct. Yep. So it's going to take a little time commitment to go and eat there. So we always knew that we were going to get to Sanaa at some point. It just was always going to have to fit into the schedule. Just so happens now it's right there in our lobby, so we ate there 3 times. The breakfast there is a quick service, FYI, if people don't know. They have, eggs. They have really unique stuff. We wound up getting the boar breakfast. I really enjoyed the boar breakfast, which Greg and I had a little discussion about the entomology.
Yeah. As a history teacher, could you give us a brief history of the boar?
Yeah, so the boars are, it's like boars are Afrikaans, and it's what the indigenous people of Africa called the Dutch settlers. And it has kind of developed over time, and they were the farmers, the Dutch farmers, that were the boars. So the boar breakfast is quite literally translated to white people food. It's like the white people breakfast, which is eggs, bacon, a biscuit, And it's very true to form. It's like, this is
Look, it's a little generic.
yeah. When you go to a place that has very rich food and very different like culinary offerings, the white people like food is eggs and bacon. And so I laughed at that, and I was like, knowing what I know about history, I had to laugh at myself and be like, what do I order there? The eggs and bacon. I ordered
The most generic simple breakfast ever.
Yeah.
And look, their breakfast is very decent.
It's good.
Again, you can get your Mickey waffles, your your Simba waffles, whatever. You can get all that stuff there.
Correct.
But here's what Sanaa's good for is dinner. It's lunch and dinner. The dinner, especially on the Savannah, it's spectacular in my point of view.
Yes.
And we can talk about the bread service because that is what Sanaa is known for.
One of the best food items, I'm just going to come right out. Like, let's rip the Band-Aid off of this. One of the best food items that you can get on property, period, breakfast, lunch, dinner, anywhere, is the bread service over at Sanaa. They give you from mild to hot, different sauces and dips, and then they give you a variety of naan. And it's not just your plain old naan. They dress it up like there's a garlic, there's a spinach, there's a vegetable naan. They give you about 4 or 5 various breads, unleavened breads. They give you all of these dips, and it is so good. It's shareable, but much like you accuse me all the time, Greg, and say I don't share food very well because I consume it at a quick rate. Linda and I really did share the naan. We shared the bread service, but I will tell you, I regret not ordering too because I got the curry. So I got the...
Is sharing when Linda has to just grab as fast as she can before it disappears?
She did.
Is that considered sharing?
Yeah, she grabbed like 3 of them because she's like, I'm going to budget them for you because I know that if I don't, you're going to take it all.
Yeah.
So I wound up getting the curry. I got the chicken curry, and it was outstanding. And it was served over a basmati rice. Really good, very flavorful. But then I stared at the very empty plate of bread with all of the sauce. And I went, you know what I would trade for? I would trade all of this curry for just more of that bread. I would gladly just eat the bread service there. That's how good it is.
That naan bread is spectacular. Look, the spinach one is decent. The garlic one, yeah, it's garlicky. But if you offset that with either like the mango chutney that was served is there.
No way, man. I went
so good.
I went garlic naan with the garlic sauce, like with the chunks of garlic.
You just decided. And that garlic, not only are they chunks of garlic, but it's spreadable.
It's a clove.
Of garlic.
Yeah, it's a whole clove that's spreadable.
Are we using technical terms
now?
Yeah,
I doubled down, man. I doubled down on it.
I'm like, I am going to have garlic breath for days.
Yeah, Linda's still like, man, you still smell like that garlic from Sanaa. And I don't even mind. Sanaa was just really great. And again, you get the ambiance of being right there with all the animals. But lunch and dinner, here's the other hot tip that sometimes people do not know. Just like you can get the beignets to go, you can order the bread service to go, that if you go there to the bar, you can say, could I just get this bread and I would like to take it to go, and they will oblige.
Did you also know that there's an extra hot sauce that you can order? All you have to do is ask them politely.
I did. Well, here's the other thing.
You mix that with the what's the white?
The yogurt.
The yogurt. Oh, so good. Oh, look, I'm drooling. I'm literally drooling right now. But look, it's like $19 for one of the best meals you can have at Walt Disney World at any resort down here. That bread service, spectacular. Each one of those, there's 10 spreads that you can use, and each one has a distinct flavor. Each one is done very well, and it will, whatever you're looking for, whether you're looking for sweet or if you're looking for spicy, they are all in there. And then I would say it's not truly pure African food you're eating there.
No, it's
more of an Indian African blend.
It's a fusion.
Northern African too.
Yeah, it's a fusion. So it's very much, you're getting a lot of that sub-Saharan flavor, but it's fusing with Middle Eastern and even like the subcontinent like of India. You're getting a lot of different culinary influences all coming together at Sanaa. It's kind of the way I described it to someone who asked me. Again, it's from a history standpoint, but it's like the Indian Ocean basin is the inspiration for that cuisine. That, you know, as explorers and Portuguese explorers and Europeans traversed the continent of Africa all the way on their route to India, you're getting all of those different flavors and various culinary infusions coming together into like one spot. And it's just brilliant, man. It's so good. We like all of the dining over at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, Jumbo included, but Sanaa is something special because of that bread. And that bread was, it's probably, it's like top 5 for me food item in all property.
Go. All right. So let's get, your last impressions. We got a day at the pool. You had a great time there. Let's finish up on the hotel.
Dude, did we not have like the best day ever at the pool? Like again,
oh my gosh, it was so fun.
All of the families combined to have a swim day.
So we met over there, and the pool is officially open at Kidani, and the pool is really nice. One of the nice things about that pool, I'll tell you people, they have a barfari. It's a bar at the safari. So you go down there, and to your right-hand side as you're entering is the safari. And there's a few birds. There's some antelope and some cattle. The Watusi are out there, a few other things. But then you go onto the other side, and there is the pool. And the pool is beautiful. It's a zero entry. The slide is wonderful. We got in there. You guys were ready to go in. And it was like, hey, let's go down the slide. I'm like, I haven't even gotten in the water yet. You know what?
Best way to get in. Slide. Yeah, that's the best way to get into the pool. But I will let you know, it's a fun dungeon, Greg. It's a bar safari, Greg.
It's a barfari.
It's a barfari. Thank you, King Candy.
Yes, thank you for showing up.
Yeah, so you and I entered. So here's the fun thing for us. When you guys stayed at Kidani, the pool was under renovation, so you guys didn't get a chance to experience that. So that was...
No, we stared longingly at it every single day because it was right across from our room.
So what was your impression of the pool, this being your first time?
Excuse me, I just started chewing on some of the candy that they gave us at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party.
It's a good time to do that.
I'm starting to choke on some gummies. That pool could be my second favorite pool at Disney World.
That's high praise.
My first being Old Man Island at Port Orleans Riverside. I know a lot of people say Stormlong Bay, but there's something nice about a smaller pool, not as many people there, has the slide, has the water park for the kids to play in. It was nice to just go there and not work. It's nice to go there. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just want to tack on to that as you're talking about the layout of the pool. What I liked about this pool that I think is more unique than any other pool on property is the amount of vegetation that is providing natural shade. There are so many other pools on property that there's like a row of chairs and you need like an umbrella in order to provide some kind of artificial canopy so that you don't get like baked by the sun. The pool is surrounded by like these trees that provide a very healthy dose of shade, and it just makes it very comfortable, and it's not hot. I mean, it's already hot, but it makes it so that it's a very calm and like peaceful area, but it's well shaded. And that to me is what elevates the pool to like, maybe I'm going to say this. I agree with you. This is like a top 3 for me pool because of the vibe that was there, but how it wasn't crowded. It was well shaded. You had the Barfari that was like right there.
There's a bird. It was Kevin. He was down there. I didn't know what to do. Can I just say something? When you first came down here, you were like, man, it's hot.
It's hot.
It's hot. So by day 5 or 6, you were like, yeah, it wasn't that hot at the pool. We had some shade. It was still, man, just brutally hot. It was, and it was sticky and hot. No, that was really nice. It was nice to spend some time. Linda and Holly got to talk. We got to talk work, but it was like a relaxing talk about work where we literally were just floating in the pool and then got to go upstairs to where they have the hot tub. And it was nice to go in the hot tub and then back in the pool. My body was so relaxed, Mark. I have not taken a day off like that to just relax in probably a year. So it was special to just hang out and just talk work without having to talk work. You know what I mean? So we are already 37 minutes into this, and we still have to get to some parks and Mickey's Not So Scary.
Yes.
See, this may turn into a Disneyland where we have a few episodes.
No, we can get this.
Let's get through this.
We can get this wrapped with one.
What park did you guys? What got the most love this time going to the parks?
Magic Kingdom.
Or what park? Yeah.
Yeah. So Magic Kingdom wound up getting the most love from us. Part of that was because we did a lot of this trip with family. So my sister-in-law joined us for a few days. We wanted to hit up Magic Kingdom, so we did that. My cousin, who was on Facebook, I see a post on Facebook. He lives in Texas, but I see a post on Facebook that he was at Disney Springs, and I text him that morning. I'm like, dude, are you in Florida? He's like, yeah, why? I'm like, I'm here. And he's like, well, I'm going to be at Magic Kingdom. So we wound up hooking up with my cousin Jeff for one day. We had the party. I felt like no matter what, the energy, I mean, and this happens naturally every single trip, but the energy was pulling us back to Magic Kingdom again and again and again. And like, it's probably my second favorite park. So I didn't fight it, but we had such a great time doing the Magic Kingdom again and again. Of course, when we were in Epcot, we had to do Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. We rode it 3 times.
But wait, the important question is, have you got all 6 songs? Have you completed your list of that? And by the way, what number are you at now? Probably around 15, 16?
Yeah. No. The quick answer is no. Gloria Estefan and the Miami Sound Machine still elude me, but I'm not going to complain because we got a healthy dose of Blondie and Tears for Fears, which give me Tears for Fears every day of the week. That is my favorite song just because of the way it changes the whole nature of the ride. And it just makes it it's beautiful. Like it's, instead of it being raucous and like wild and crazy and like shouting, you kind of like get emotional as you're circling the moon, and the Tears for Fears is like just blaring. You're just, this is everything to me. But
it's
no,
the best ride in the world. But no, so you didn't complete it.
We didn't.
To solve that, Mark, you are going to have to come down here again.
I'm just going to have to move there. Yeah, I'm just going to have to move there.
You're going to have to ride it a few more times. Let's talk, before we spend a lot of time in Magic Kingdom, because we're about to.
Yeah.
We had a great time at Animal Kingdom. Again, families got together, and my daughter came over. Your daughter was there. We went over and did a few things there. Most importantly, though, we got to see Finding Nemo, The Big Blue, and Beyond together. So mind-blowing.
It's so good. The show was always great. I want to be very clear with this. Finding Nemo the musical was always great. But what they have done with this thing is just, it's breathtaking. I don't think people who attend parks have an understanding of how great this show is. Now, mind you, I live in the greater New York area. For those people who are listening to the show that don't know, Greg is the near. He lives in Orlando. I live in the Northeast, so I'm still in Pennsylvania, about an hour and 10 minutes out of New York City in the Pocono Mountains. We go, you know this, because we talk about this. Our fans may not know this. I go to Broadway shows at least 1 or 2 a month. We get into the city a lot. I don't think people understand the quality of that show, that you are getting a Broadway-style show in terms of the talent, the visuals, the special effects, the projections. That show could very well just be ported from New York City and from Broadway and plopped right into Animal Kingdom. My wife and I were marveling at the way that they have plussed up that show. It's a little bit shorter. They've streamlined the content a little bit. They've cut it down to be a little bit more consumable, that they can get a few more shows in every single day. But that show is brilliant. It's emotional. The music is great. The voices are great. The puppetry and just the way that they execute an abbreviated.
Can I just say this about the puppetry, by the way? At one point, I said, okay, so I covered it when it opened for media. So I've seen the show. I was working that day. This was the first time I got a chance to watch the actual show itself and just sit there and enjoy it. We had, at one point, I was watching it, and I wish I could explain how the puppetry happens, but at one point, the puppeteers disappeared. and I literally was watching Nemo.
Yeah.
I was watching Dory. I was watching Bruce, and I did not see the actor behind that anymore. And it was mind blowing to finally just really get into it and enjoy it. I turned over at one point. Both of our daughters were like mouths agape, so intently watching this. And it was just one of those, man, this is so cool. I'm sitting here watching my kid enjoy these things that I love. I love these things at Disney. It's not kite tails in any way, shape, or form, which, by the way, you got a chance to experience the best show.
We're not going to go
ever.
Listen, come on, man.
World.
We're not going to go there. Let's leave kite tails. We're talking about some great stuff right now. Let's not go to the abbreviated.
Mark, can you give me your impression of kite tails?
In a word, truncated. Okay, let's just leave it at that.
That's a polite way of saying that. We will move on.
So
I hate that they did that to kite tails.
I know.
Why did they do that?
You've said it now numerous times. But to put a wrap on Finding Nemo, the musical, it's a show for parents. To be a parent and to watch that show is to kind of get what it's about. I mean, you cannot be a parent and not be emotionally affected by that show. And to sit there with your daughter and my daughter marveling in the pageantry of the show, but us understanding the love that Marlin has for his little boy. It's just, again, that's what I love about Finding Nemo, the story. Like, I've always associated with it. That's why it's in my top 5 Pixar. Is because I am Albert Brooks. Quite literally in my life, I am Albert Brooks. He is my spirit.
You're an old Jewish guy?
No, well, he's my spirit animal. Like, I am.
Oh, okay.
So, and I joke about this, but like when my daughter was growing up, I don't even apologize for it because I acknowledge and I embrace it. I was a helicopter parent. We moved heaven and earth to have her. And so
you deserve to be a helicopter.
Yeah, so I never wanted a hair on her head to be harmed, and like the stress and anxiety that I would feel with her growing up. Like, your first kid, like, there's always a healthy dose of like being a helicopter parent. The second and third kids, people tell me it's like, yeah, we've been through it. Like, those are the kids that get like ping ponged around life. But like your first kid, you're always a little like, you kind of bubble wrap them a little bit. But like I did that with her to like the nth degree, and so I always associate with Finding Nemo, the musical. And in that moment, like I wouldn't lie if I didn't say like I had a single tear probably rolling down my cheek in the waning moments of the show. And again, go watch it. Like, I don't want to talk about the content, but in the last shot of the show, what you get as a parent, it's pure gold. 10 out of 10. People don't really understand what they're getting there. It is a Broadway style show plopped in the middle of the Animal Kingdom. Yeah. And here's the hot take. It's 1,000 times better than the pageantry of the Lion King. What is that? The
Festival.
Thank you. Festival of the Lion King. Everyone gives that one all of the love. Hot take.
No,
Nemo is 100 times better.
2 things real quick. First off, you still helicopter her.
I do.
And as well deserved, because what an amazing kid you guys are raising, by the way. She's so fun. I will just put it out that way.
Wait. Speaking of which, we can't miss this opportunity. My daughter rode Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yes.
She did it.
You guys just went over there, and one of the first. Did you guys do Rise first, or did you guys go straight to Rock and Roller?
Straight away. She went straight for it. So
you have to tell me how much what her reaction was, because we've talked about her going on this for a lot of episodes, and we've talked about your past and the roller coaster fear, and then you trying not to project that on her. So.
I have
happened?
I have quite possibly the greatest ride photo in the history of ride photos. So she went on it. We rode the front row, and I told her, listen, our first time, we got to do front row. Like, let's do this. So I rode next to her. She had a vice grip on my hand. So here's the downside to it. There were people that were sitting behind us that were not properly sitting in the vehicle. They had I don't know how they do it, but there were people who had their arms in the middle of the shoulder harness.
How do you do that?
Don't know. But it delayed us. So my daughter started to get anxious because we got 2 full countdowns. It was like 3, 2, and nothing. And then she's like, is it broken? Like, she's like getting some anxiety. I'm like, listen, there's nothing wrong with the ride. Those people are not listening to the cast members. It got to the point where the cast member had to actually leave their perch, walk around and say specifically, like, look the person in the eye and be like, Hear that thing that's going over your head? That's you. Like,
Oh, no.
we're talking to you. It was like one of those awkward moments where it was like, yeah, yep, it's me.
You're one of those.
I'm one of those. Like, and now I've held up the ride for like 4 minutes because I'm not listening to the audio cues of what is being told to me. But once, once she did that and she launched, she screamed hysterically on the launch. Once we went into the inversion and came out of the inversion, she was like, "This is amazing." But the picture that we got on the launch, it's on the wall. It's on the fridge forever. She looked terrified. But
by the way, your family was so fun to hang out with your sister-in-law and her. Look, we laughed until my stomach hurt at some points during this trip. Like, it was just so fun to just hang out and just be part of something special. All right, before we go back to Magic Kingdom, because Magic Kingdom's going to take up the rest of this with Mickey's Not So Scary. Food. Anything special this trip that you guys ate or tried or?
Top 3, number 1, bread service. we no need to go back. We've already discussed it. Number 2 for me, speaking of Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween, that corn, I swear it's cake. It's cake.
I swear it's cake. Have you ever been so confusing? I literally looked at that and went, I now want something savory. I want to eat something savory.
It was sweet.
And I got cake.
Yeah, it was super sweet.
Give them cake.
Yeah. For those people who like, the TikTok videos that like, you're like cake or food, Disney's done that kind of thing where it looks like an ear of corn.
And it's really, really well done. Like, I'm talking one of the best things I've ever seen Disney do with a snack or treat.
Yeah, it looks like street corn. I mean, you would think that there's street corn that's sitting on a plate that you're about to bite in, and it's going to be corn, and it is a vanilla cake. So good, but the presentation of this stuff is great. There was an old man behind us, right? Like, we're ordering it, and he's like, "I want the corn. I need the corn, honey." And she's like, "It's cake." And he's like, "No, it's not. Look at it. It's corn.
It looks like corn."
And then you and I turn it over like, "Sir, it's cake." We're holding it in our hand. We're like, "It's cake." So that
has a candy corn on top, sir. It is cake.
And it was great. The other thing that I know that you and I had a little intestinal test in the next day, but both of us also ate the Bayou Burger.
Oh, the pimento cheese on top. Okay.
It's great. I mean, it's so good. So good. It tastes wonderful. It is a burger with pimento cheese and
spicy
sausage. Yeah.
On top of that, and then a giant pickle, and then some more pimento cheese and some type of mayo sauce on there.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was really great, but here's where, but I also want to clarify this. If you eat it at a normal hour, it won't cause you any problem. Greg and I happened to eat this thing at like 11:45 at night.
While we were running to another thing before the night ended.
So it's not the best thing to eat at midnight.
While running.
Yeah, and then sleeping it off. That this is the kind of item that you get it early on in the night so your body has a chance to like digest and metabolize it. Because I was sitting there overnight and it was like the spice of it, I could feel in my stomach at like 3 a.m. and it was like, oh no. Why did you eat that at midnight? Yeah. But man, if that isn't one of my favorite burgers now, and I know it's going to be temporary, but man, if that isn't one of the best burgers that I've ever eaten at Walt Disney World, I'd be lying.
We also went to Sci-Fi Dine Inn, and
your first time.
My first time, and we were joined by Brian Lee.
I love that dude so much.
Love Brian. He's so fun to talk to. Just again, over at Nerd Life Network, you can catch Brian Lee all the time over there. He runs his YouTube channel.
Yep.
Those guys are so smart about entertainment, Marvel, Star Wars, anything you want to talk about, geek lifestyle, nerd lifestyle, I will say. But yeah, it was my first time at Sci-Fi Dine Inn. You guys had eaten there before. It was just a fun, and not a great place to try and hold a conversation with a family because I was looking at the back of your wife and daughter's head the whole time talking to them. But it was a good time was had by all.
So now, if you want to sit in one of the cars, you need a reservation. But if you do want to have a more social setting, you can. There's tables in the back, but there's also some party tables that are in the middle. If you want to have a more social meal at Sci-Fi Dine Inn, you can certainly request those tables in order to facilitate that discussion. But you're sitting like in rows of two. Everything is facing the screen. It's set up like a drive-in theater in a faux car. It really is not the most social dining setting. I was sitting sideways for much of the dining experience so that I could see both you and Holly sitting in the back of the car and my daughter and my wife sitting in the front. But man, I love that place. I think some people have said they don't like the food there. It's burgers, it's sandwiches. The fried pickles are a knockout for me. The onion rings. I like
the dipping sauce.
Yeah, I like the food there. I think the food there is really good. So,
okay, now let's get to the second most important thing that happened during this trip for you and for us. So we were invited out for Chip and Company to cover media for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. I had been there the night prior or the Friday prior on opening night and covered it. That was not a media invite. We paid for our own ticket. This one, we had been invited out and they gave us 4 passes and 4 tickets during the night. Just so everybody is aware, Disney invited us out to check out the new merchandise, to check out some of the new food. They gave us a gift card to try out various different snacks around the park, look at the merchandise. We got a special viewing area for fireworks. We got a special viewing area for the parade. And then we got to, Mark, we had a great night. So I say that just so people know that some of this stuff may not be available to the average person of where we stood for fireworks or for the parade. Everything else, everybody can do. This was your first time doing a real proper media event over at Chip and Company. Apparently you did get recognized. I was leading, this whole thing is leading up to this one story. We are going to go through the whole night because the whole night is amazing. But I need to tell you this story out there in Dislife podcast land.
Oh man.
So this is Mark's first true real media event.
It's true.
Holly was going to originally do it with me, and then Chip and Company, we had 2 other reporters out there, Joey and her husband Michael. They were doing pictures, and then we all got together to do the parade, the fireworks. And what was nice was Holly and Rory went off with Linda and Bella and hung out as friends hang out. Mark and I went to work and got to hang out as friends work and hang out. We are standing in let me set this scene for you, Mark. And there's 2 stories that go on here, and just bear with me, everybody. We are dead center in Town Square, staring down Main Street at Cinderella Castle. She's lit up. She's beautiful. The walls of Main Street are lit up. We are at that where the trolley tracks split and that center point is right where the 2 giant pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns are. We set up in there, and there's our friend Sam, who is with media. The whole media is roped off there. We get dead center. Sam gave us one of his spots. Mark is standing on the other side of Sam. I'm in the middle because I'm going live. And a girl comes up and goes, "Hey, I know you." And Mark's like, "Really? Yeah, well, I podcast." And she's like, "No, aren't you that model? I saw you do this recently. You're that model for that company. You wore the shirt, the Epcot shirt. You're the Epcot shirt guy." Mark's first time getting noticed in a media event is for being a model with the Epcot shirt on, ladies and gentlemen. Mark, how did you feel?
And let me use this opportunity to plug.
I cried laughing so hard.
So let me use this as an opportunity to plug them. Their ad is on after our show. The Happiness Collection through Happiness is Addictive. I wore their entire, almost exclusively throughout the trip. They have Max Drive, Disney bounding stuff. That night I was dressed as Thor, the God of Thunder, and I was wearing the shirt. While we were at the media event, she noticed that I was in Happiness Collection attire, and then, kind of pointed out, yeah, you were their male brand rep. So of all of the work that I have put in for 2 years as a it's radio though, man. Like, let's face it. There's a lot of people who may listen to this show that unless they go to socials have probably no clue of what I look like at all. And I always say I have a face for radio. So here I am rather recently, only in about a month and a half, putting my face out there more than I ever have to be a brand rep for this amazing clothing. And I have to say this, like, we have an ad for them, not just because, you know, like there's an arrangement, but I love this clothing line. Like, I absolutely love it. Speaking of how hot it was, the clothing looks amazing and it gets you noticed in parks. It stands out. It's really great. But the Max Dry Fit kept me cool. It kept me like, you weren't soaked. You didn't have that crazy back sweat, the moisture wicking of it. But it was so funny, of all of the work that we've put in, here I am at this media event, and what gets me recognized is being the male brand rep for the Happiness Collection. And I laughed, and you looked at me, and you were going to die with laughter. And I was like, please don't right now, because you're going to embarrass me more than I already am, feeling like very vulnerable. But yeah, so
nothing for nothing. That's cool. That means it's working. And you looked amazing in those shirts, by the way.
They get you noticed.
The other thing about that whole just sitting there on that, because we're going to get to some of the other party stuff, was as we're walking up there, I'm looking up at the castle. I'm hanging out with one of my friends. I'm in that media pool. And Chip sends me a message. She's like, check your email. And so here I am, I'm Mark, and I need to, I hope people understand how much I appreciate what I do. First off, doing Dislife podcast with you as a co-host is wonderful. Doing the podcast with Chip is amazing. And then you and I do And Company again. So I get to do a lot of this. I get to go to the parks every day and take photos and write articles about it. On top of that, I get media invites by Disney, and this was one of those special ones where you're at the Magic Kingdom doing a media event. That's a lot of work that goes into that. But while we're doing that, my email pops up, and there is what I've worked really hard for the past few years, is the media invite for D23 came in.
Yes.
How excited I was for that, Mark. Dude, thank you for being there for me.
We got emotional.
I didn't know what to do. I literally was like, oh, what do I do with my hands right now?
We both got very emotional.
By the way, it worked out for you.
It was great.
That email coming in.
Well, but it was great seeing you achieve that level of success, something that you work really hard for, to be invited out by Disney to cover the event because of the good work that you do and the comprehensive coverage that you do. But listen, for people who don't know, like, Chip and Company does such a great job in covering what's going on at Disney. You guys do a really great objective job of covering what's going on. You stay away from the clickbait. You stay away from the negative. You guys just report on what's going on. Here's the food item. Here's what we think. Here's the event. This is what happened. It's nice to see that that's noticed and it pays off for you specifically, because you work like I did this media event and I had a chance to see just how much goes into it. Like, quite literally, man, the physical running to get to a spot, to get that shot. Like, for instance, we needed the gravediggers, and our first go round, we didn't get it.
Right.
And so I legitimately ran to the front of the park to catch up with the gravediggers on the second go round to make sure that we had the footage to capture that part of the parade. Like, you get the shot, you need to put yourself in the right place. So for you do this all the time. Like, you live in that space. It's like, no matter what, get the shot, get the story. I've got to be there. That it's more than just like walking around, enjoying the ambiance of Disney. Like, it's work. And to get the story and to get it right and to get the shot, it takes a keen eye, man. So I got teary, dude, looking at you, appreciating the acknowledgement of that hard work that you put in and day out to report the Disney news at Chip and Company. I was glad I could be there in that moment to just see your face and see you light up to get that recognition. I'm so proud of you, man.
That was amazing. I'm really happy that that came in and you were there for it. So, but let's get into Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. This was the first time you went this year. I want to hear from your perspective, because people have heard from my perspective on how much I love this whole party. I want to hear from your perspective, especially doing a media night, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, some of the fun we had. Mark, his feet move faster than his upper body, and Mark runs through the park. Not only does Mark run, he schmoves. This man knows how to schmoove through Magic Kingdom faster than any man I've ever seen in my life. Mark, how do I keep up with you next time?
Well, I like to think that that's an asset, because if I am the second camera, that you could be like, Mark, schmoove, get there, and I can do it, man. So I guess,
at one point, I think I asked you to stop, and I was like, Mark, I cannot move this fast.
I need you
please
to
slow down.
Yeah, please
You're
slow
like,
down.
No, you told me to get to the front of the park. I'm going to the front of the park.
So I will call this trip also the light training and the beginning of my training for the 10K. So for those people that don't know, I am a recent convert. I am a Disney runner. I'm not a runner. I'm a Disney runner. I have done some 5Ks outside of Run Disney events, but I will tell you, having done them, I enjoy way more Disney events. They give you a better visual of what to look at, and it really does inspire you. Whereas if you're just running through your hometown, it's not as awe-inspiring to like sweat and to like just feel the pain of running an event. So I will say that this was like a very early training for the 10K, but I have to get back on it, because I'm doing the Wine and Dine 5K, and then the next day I'm then doing the 10.
Congrats on that, by the way. I'm really proud of. I've watched your transition from not doing this to moving through the park, and which by the way, we did do a 10K that night. That's how much we walked through that park.
We really did.
Mm-hmm. So, anything that stood out to you that night? What was interesting about that? Like, this was truly like we had done Epcot Food and Wine Festival, and that's just they kind of let you go off and do your own thing. This one was special because they set us up, and we got to do certain special things that most people do not get to do.
It was really well scripted. Yeah, and it was really well scripted. The way that Disney
to the point. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say the way that Disney hosted us, it was really well done. In that. We went in, we saw all of the merchandise. You had a chance to do interviews. You had a chance to see all of the snacks. The display of the snacks was all in one spot that you could see them all laid out. They would discuss the ingredients and the presentation. The chef was right there. They just did a really nice job of getting everything together in one place to be able to really discuss it the way that Disney wanted to. But then it was just so well done that it was, here was our fireworks viewing. Here was our time to look at the parade. You and I made sure that we hit the overlays on Pirates of the Caribbean, that we checked out Space Mountain. We didn't do the stage show, or I didn't do the stage show because my daughter started to really power down at that point. So I didn't get a chance to see the Sanderson sisters from up close. I'm okay with that.
I did see it, and I wasn't okay with it.
I apologize. I'm not a huge fan of Hocus Pocus. I will watch Hocus Pocus too, because I consume everything that Disney puts out, just to be able to speak intelligently on, having seen it. I'm not one of those guys. I don't do reviews on things that I haven't seen.
Right. Hocus Pocus is the one with Jar Jar Binks, the cat.
No. Sorry, Jar Jar. I will not.
I didn't mean to offend Jar Jar.
I didn't mean to offend Jar Jar that way. I mean, he's so much more than just a feline friend.
The parade. Let's talk a little bit about the parade and the setup they had for us.
Yeah. So that, first of all, I like the Christmas parade too. I think the Christmas parade is just pure magic, but that Halloween parade is something remarkable. And I want to attribute that to, it's not just the visuals of the parade. Boo to You, just that song, that's a banger, dude. Like, I can listen to that thing on a loop in my house from now until like next October, and I don't want to turn it off or turn it down. Like, I love that song, and the way that they work in that song throughout the various floats, it's just really fun. But that parade is something spectacular. Seeing it atop of Main Street, having that little roped off area is great. It just, as you steer down Main Street and you have the castle looming large in the background, one float to the next is just so good. The Gravediggers, you know how much I love Wreck-It Ralph and Vanellope Von Schweetz. They're always a highlight. But dude, Constance Hatchaway, the way that she glides and like she ghoulishly floats down Main Street with the dancers behind her and then the hitchhiking ghosts. It's just so well done. The Boo to You parade is quite literally, it's worth the price of admission alone just to see that parade. You and me had a moment where I think we both looked at each other and was like, this is our life right now. As we watched the fireworks, you can get just gobs of candy. I told you personally how much I loved being in the Tiki room with the lights on. The animatronics were turned on.
Yes, that was amazing.
Dude, you could take pictures and videos. Not that you can't take pictures and videos in the Tiki room. It's just really rude to do it during the presentation because you're ruining the experience for other people, like having a camera running or narrating it. But to be able to be in there and like have that permission to take photos and take videos of the animatronics and they're moving about, that for me was something special because you quite obviously know how much I love the Tiki room. It's probably like my purest Disney experience. It's like my everything. It's the beginning of my realization that Disney was something special, and sitting in the Tiki room and communicating with the spirit of Walt Disney and Imagineers. And to do that in that night, that was another moment of Zen for me. That
I'm literally looking over your shoulder right now, and you have the Enchanted Tiki Room sign. I mean, you are in the Tiki Room right now.
And what you can't see that's not on camera are, above where my hand is right now, there's probably another 15 items, just Tiki Room inspired items, from the drummers to like, there's, Jose is up here. I have all of the accoutrements of the Tiki Room. I just love it. And I got to use the word accoutrements.
Which I love, by the way. I'm going to just mention the fireworks briefly. The fireworks are spectacular. They gave us West Hub viewing area.
Yeah.
So you were in that little hub grass area up to, if you're looking at the castle, to the left-hand side. Beautiful, beautiful area. I was able to finally take a breath at that point because we had already covered the fireworks for Chip and Company. I was able to go find a little seat in the back and just sit down and kind of reflect a little bit, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
There's something special about being in the Magic Kingdom amongst friends and family, and you're working there. And I needed that 5 minutes of just going, what am I doing with my life? This is amazing. I'm so happy to be able to bring the magic that I experience every day and talk about it and show images of it. So I took a few moments. After that, we went over and we ran over to Tomorrowland and got to ride Space Mountain and the overlay, which the overlay is outside, not inside.
Yeah.
It is outside. There is nothing inside. It is pitch. Go ahead. You explain this one better than I can.
So when you ride Space Mountain during the Halloween event, there are no lights. There's no blue tunnel. There's no red tunnel. Nope. Everything is turned off, and you ride it in pitch black. It changes the tone and the tempo of the ride. It is something truly special, and it changes the ride completely and totally. To ride it in pitch black, you and I were just like screaming and laughing in delight.
So fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
It was just, I giggled like a little kid. It was like the first time I rode that, and it was so fun to be in that dark. One of the other things I do want to mention was the overlay outside. They updated it. It looks spectacular having the lights on there. Only other thing I really want to mention that I thought was really funny, at one point after we left the parade, we had to hurry up and get over to where the fireworks were. And what I call the media shuffle. They take everybody in the media and you kind of lead them down wherever you have to go. And Disney kind of makes sure that you all stay in a group. On this one, they didn't keep us all in a group, but you could see all of us walking down Main Street and we looked like our own parade because they gave us these badges and necklaces, and the necklaces lit up, but they didn't light up like everybody else's, like orange and green and blue. No, they were bright LED lights that stood out no matter where you were. So it just was very embarrassing to watch the ants because there was like 50 of us just all in a line going down Main Street. And I looked back at one point, it was like, this is so pompous. This is so pompous.
Red and black antenna waving. We all do it the same way.
That is exactly us. Yeah, look, and then we got to, you had mentioned we got to do the live Pirates on Pirates of the Caribbean. We got to try the snacks. We got to try the treats. I do want to make a special thing where we got to see, one of the things I love about doing the media events is we get to see friends. So we got to see a few of our friends who do other podcasts, work in the media. Not all of us hate each other. We actually like each other a lot. We are in just competition. That's all. So, but we're all covering the same thing. It's how we cover it. And I love a lot of those people out there. We got to see Jason was out there. He was covering it for WDW Magazine. So I wanted to mention him. We saw him. Sam was out there. A whole bunch of other friends of ours. Man, what a special night that was. What do you take away from that night?
Dude, I'm grateful. That's it. In a word, is just grateful. Grateful to you guys for inviting me to be a part of that media core that night. Again, like if you cut all of us up, we bleed Disney and we love Disney. It's not that we're artificially selling it, and the thing that I notice is, people will say, well, you're media, or like Disney pays you. Disney doesn't pay you. Like they recognize you guys again for being champions of this thing, of this magic, and for appreciating it for what it is. And it was just so great to be there in a group of people who love Disney to their very core. They love it so much that they just want to shout it from the rooftops about how much they love these things. And I was just really grateful to be in that group of people, to see the event from that perspective. And I'm thankful to you, and I'm thankful to Chip for the trust that you guys have put in Dislife podcast, and for bringing me to be a part of the team and to be there to help you guys cover it. I was emotional. And again, like we were sitting there watching fireworks, and I said, this is my life. I'm so grateful that this is my life. This is my Disney life. And to be there and to share it with a friend, to share it with you, and to see our families enjoying the time together. And that's why I say it doesn't matter how many times you go to Disney, there's always something new and something magical, and there's something different. And my takeaway from Halloween, but my takeaway from this trip was how grateful I am. And it's always grateful to have this opportunity, to have these people in my life that enrich my Disney life, and to really just improve upon the quality of my life, and to be able to give me this gift that I have, that I'm just so humble and grateful to have, man.
I appreciate it. So I'm going to break big news real quick. I think this is the time and the place for it. So while we were there and I got the email about doing D23, I had made a joke the day before to Linda and to you. And I was like, if we get media for this, we may have an extra pass to go out to D23. And I kind of jokingly was like, oh, Linda, I'll say it now. That way Mark remembers to tell you when I ask him to go out to D23 with us. And she was like, well, at least I go to Christmas. I don't know if she thought I was being serious or not. Well, the next day when media came in for D23, Chip texted me right away and was like, would Mark want to join us for D23 Expo this year in September? And I went, I don't know. I'm going to go ask his wife real quick. So we met up with Linda and Bella, Holly and Rory. And I went to Linda and I was like, Linda, can Mark come out and play? Like, I was like a little kid. I was just so happy that my friend was going to join. Like, Chip and I are friends. You and I are friends. Yeah. You and Chip are friends. But we also work together. So it's like a group of guys having fun as friends. And she was like, yeah, of course. You can go out to, and she gave you permission, because it was just a respect thing to ask her first, because she deserves that respect from us. So Linda approved it, and you, my friend, are now joining Chip and Company to do media for D23 Expo.
Dude, I'm speechless. It's a lot of work. And it's a lot of fun at the same time. Like, we put in, you put in serious work, and, you're not watching the parade to watch the parade. You're watching it through a viewfinder, because you want to get the good shots. You want to get you need good video, you need good audio, and you need to report whatever is going on. But at the same time, we love Disney so much that we love looking at it through that lens. Like, we really, like, to us, that's what's special. Just thank you, man. Like, thank you to you and Chip for that vote of confidence. And again, we have so much fun doing this together.
Well, your work, look, I'm going to say this right away. First off, your work speaks for itself. You have figured out how to do a great job with what you do, whether it's podcasting, whether it's putting together reels or Instagram or social media, whatever it is. Mark Valentine and Dislife podcast has proven themselves worthy of doing this. You are a professional on top of this. So friendship is second on this one because you are a professional. So you're going out there as a professional.
I'm excited.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited because we just did a whole episode about D23, all of our wants and needs, and you were like, "Yeah, well, when you come back, you can let us know what happened." I hate you. I'm gonna watch it on Disney Plus, whatever.
Yeah. Listen, man,
it's amazing. I will say this though, there is Disney depression when you get home from these trips.
Zero.
You have something to look forward to right away.
Yeah, I had zero.
I will say I have my family and Rory and Holly both were like, well, we're having Valentine depression because the Valentines have left us because you guys are family members to us. So I want to say thank you so much for leading us through this trip. Thanks for having fun. I'm gonna stop talking now and give the forum to you and let you wrap this up in a nice little bow.
Yeah, well, thank you to everybody for taking this little trip from the Bayou to the Savannah with us. When we have trip reports to report on, we love to kind of talk about our latest experience at Disney. Greg gets to live that Disney life every single day, but we do live from trip to trip here. While we do get there a lot, we do always have to sojourn home. So for those of you who have that Disney depression that travel to and from the Orlando area, we can associate with you. We can definitely identify with what you're going through here at Dislife. But, thank you to you guys. This was so much fun. Disney to us is family. Disney is about the friends that we get to meet, whether it's, meeting my cousin there, seeing Brian Lee. We didn't get to connect with Alicia because the schedules were crazy, but Alicia Haig is always such a big part of that. Even when we were all there and it was you and me and Chip and Lacey all hanging out, Disney is family to us.
And Rob, don't forget Piano Rob.
Piano Rob, yeah, we had a chance to hang out with Piano Rob the one night, and he came and saw us. I love Disney parks so much. I'm so blessed to have this in my life. It's enriched my life since I started this podcast. The podcast was started to improve my life because we were living in a time of quarantine, in a time of pandemic. This radio program has just brought me some of the best friends and family. And I'm just, again, really grateful. So thank you for hanging out with us on this trip report. We are going to be having a D23. We're bringing the equipment out with us to California. So expect remote broadcasts, expect lots of content from Dislife Podcast expanding upon D23. Stay tuned for next week as we're going to bring you, again, the best of Disney parks and content. So for the Disney fanatic and for myself, thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you have a wonderful week here on the Chip and Company Podcast Network. And we hope the rest of the week is filled with faith, trust, and pixie dust. We'll see you real soon. Bye, Greg.
Disney World's better.
Dislife Podcast is brought to you by the Happiness is Addictive collection. Happiness is Addictive is passionate about spreading laughter and creating smiles worldwide. They love bringing their global community together through optimism, cheer, hopefulness, merriment, and celebrating life's magical moments. They know how important it is to celebrate life's adventures, and their apparel will give you everlasting, one-of-a-kind memories through pixie-dusted family photos, compliments from park guests, and magical moments with cast members. They pride themselves on high-quality, custom-made apparel at competitive prices with world-class service. Let them help you create a lifetime of memories, whether you're Disney bounding, kicking it poolside, participating in Run Disney marathons, having costumed adventures, or just living your best Disney life. You can find their Happiness is Addictive shop on Etsy. You can also find them on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and Pinterest. They are proud to be featured in Indy Central Florida, the Thoughtful Gift Club, and now here on Dislife Podcast. Their collection was founded by a 15-year former cast member who knows how to enhance your magical moments for a lifetime of memories with your family. Don't forget to use promo code DISLIFE15 to take an extra 15% off. What are you waiting for? Head over to Etsy and start getting happy today. Follow the link in our show notes and you'll find out for yourself that happiness is addictive.